welcome back to the GSL Code S. This is Group D, and already we have a player advancing to the round of 16. He is Maru Prime, the youngest player to ever grace the GSL.
We just saw in his video there was a mention that he's 16 years old. This obviously refers to a Korean age.
Yeah.
In European and Western terms, he's still 14.
Indeed, this is true. Korean age is a little bit more complicated, but you can see, you know, on Hero Space you saw a little bit of stress before the game, the third game, and then obviously lost it in spectacular fashion. Now, this next game is not only important for GuMiho and Curious, but I think a lot can be said about this game regarding Hero. Curious has already lost to Hero, so if he wins, he has to play against someone who's already defeated him, and I think Hero can definitely beat Curious again. But if he has to play against GuMiho, if GuMiho wins, I think it's going to be a harder battle to fight for Hero, not only mentally, but as far as his results go. I mean, he's not looking as strong against Terran as he does against Zerg.
This is definitely going to be a really, really intense matchup right now, and also the outcome very important for Hero, so he will watch closely what's going to happen between our Terran, our Zerg player, between GuMiho and Curious in this first game that's going to take place on Entombed Valley in just a few seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, this is GSL Code S with Caldo and Wolf, and we are headed into match number 1. The GSL, sponsored by Hot 6. Don't forget, guys, there is currently a special at GOMTV.net/tickets where you can purchase a pass for a limited time to a discount price. Definitely check it out. We have now to the bottom right
FXO GuMiho.
our Terran player in the red, starting for the FXO team. He lost to Maru earlier with 2-1.
Indeed, he did.
Spawning to the top right, Zerg was defeated by Hero in the first match.
StarCraft Curious.
The StarCraft player.
So we are currently in our losers match. Both these players lost their first sets, and whoever wins this match plays against Hero, for those of you guys who are newer to the format, and then whoever wins that match will join Maru in Code S. So, as I said earlier, it's a really important match for not only these two players, but for Hero. Whoever loses this match will also have to play in the round of 48 of Code A, the first round, so they have a possibility of being knocked completely out of the GSL in their first Code A game if they lose this. So, it's a very stressful position to be in. If you lose this game, you know, again, not only in Code A, but in the round of 48. And if Hero, for example, loses his next round, then he'll be one round ahead in Code A. Hero cannot be knocked out of the GSL this season. It just cannot happen. So he has his spot secured in that regard.
And that's a little bit of a match history. Those two faced each other already in October 2011 in the round of 4 of Code A, with StarCraft Curious winning with 3-2-0. Quite the impressive performance.
Yeah, very impressive. That was the season that Curious won, actually. Code A, it was our last actual Code A finals. Curious versus Oz, it was a 4-0. So, something a lot of you probably remember.
Curious was able to beat not only Maru but also Marine King, the two prime players in the last GSTL season. He lost to Jagchi though, which is the last competitive map against Terran that I've listed for him. Here a few of the win rates on GSL Entombed Valley, with Curious with 2 wins and 1 loss. And well, GuMiho, he does not really like the map, does he? 1 win and 5 losses.
Can't say much about Curious, but about GuMiho, man, it looks like he does not do well on this map, statistically speaking. He is going to be going for a Reactor Hellion expand here, so very common strategy to see on this map. Even with a secondary ramp, you just see this strategy so often here. They make the command center on the high ground, and even back next to his command center, super safe, wants to hide it a little bit more.
It will be very interesting to see what kind of strategies both players are using. For the Terran, there's always the option to go complete mech style with something we've seen occasionally on this map, and which can be really strong. Terran is struggling in the late game a little bit against Zerg, especially when there's a really decent composition between Broodlords and Corruptors. It's quite hard to beat it with the ghost changes that we've seen in the last patch. It's going to be really difficult for GuMiho, but let's see if he allows his opponent to get this combination or if he will attack earlier. The best timing for a Terran to usually attack. Oh, nice. Getting into the main base here.
He sees everything. This is
Nice,
not
blocking the factory a little bit.
That's really important. Tries to block again, is not successful. Will perhaps kill this Hellion. Nope. Nice repair and marine control there. But seeing all of that is not too significant because it's what he expected in the first place. But now he knows for sure, okay, no weird Banshee play. He's actually making a Roach Warren here.
And speed.
Yeah, this could be potentially used aggressively, but I think he's just going to use it defensively. It all depends on what he wants to do here, though. Nice cancel to save the tumor.
For the Terran, it's obviously also a bit of a gamble, but if he gets the siege tanks out in time, then he will be able to deal with it. And we have another command center being built, so he's on 3 CCs now. And these roaches could do a ton of damage. Let's see if he's straight going into some kind of tank play. Does not look like it. He's spending additional minerals for his engineering bay first.
Yep, roaches are on the way. It looks like he will start tanks fairly soon.
And he
here.
needs to. He definitely needs to at this point. There it is.
Spine at the bottom of the ramp really helps deny scouting. It's very aggressive to put the spine at the bottom of the ramp like that. Very few players actually push the spine down that early. Something that Curious is really trying to showcase here. This SCV has been a great help to these Hellions, and the Hellions are not ready to let him die. Going to protect him. He wants to scout these roaches, but he has not seen them yet. And no bunker being made. Siege mode is on the way, but this is going to be tough for him to hold. He
Even
has no
without the
infrastructure
siege mode, he will be fine if he pulls the SCVs in time.
Yeah, and if he does not send everything down to the low ground, I mean, at this point, he is really, he has no infrastructure in play at his natural, so he's going to have to lift this up right away.
Marines are in place, the tank as well. This attack will delay the natural a little bit, but it won't be able to crush the main base.
Nope.
The SCVs are there, they can repair not only the supply depots, but also the tank itself if it gets some damage by the roaches, but still very well played by GuMiho here. Curious with a little bit of aggression, trying to punish his opponent, but it's not going to happen at this point. But he can delay this expansion, which is also very important.
Yep, and he's going to actually take out an SCV building a bunker, get away without losing any roaches. A lot of mining time is lost here. And it looks like he's going to back off at this point, considering that the tanks are out, the siege mode is done, and the bunker's still not cancelled, surprisingly. But Curious has actually done a lot of damage with these roaches. Not direct damage, but he's chasing the Hellions away from the center. He's got map control with them. He delayed the expansion, delayed a lot of mining time, killed an SCV. He actually is going to catch these Hellions now as well.
And he completely reversed the situation now. Usually what we have in the early game is a Terran player trying to gain map control by using Hellions. And Curious tries to be aggressive with these roaches. He's not able to do too much damage, but he delays mining time, he delays the expansion, he's able to snipe one of the SCVs, and he suddenly is in a position where he can control the Xel'Naga watchtower in the middle of the map. The Hellions can't contest this, and they're even picked off by the Zerglings. So for Curious, this is a great position. He can do whatever he wants. He has control of Entombed Valley now, while GuMiho is kinda in the dark and has to rely on his 2 bases for quite a while now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. +1 Carapace is on the way for Curious as he gets a Baneling nest here. This base will very easily be taken. Of course, tried to scout it, but was not able to. And at this point, GuMiho's production is starting to get really good. He's got +1 armor on the way, and his stim is on the way as well. I believe he has +1 for his Marines already. So that means his Marines are going to be able to not only take out these rocks faster, but also he'll be able to pressure very soon with stim and the amount of siege tanks he's already built. He's even adding Marauders into the mix as well. It's going to be hard for Curious to hold that base if he doesn't kill the rocks. He's working on them now. But his creep spread is really going to be useful for him. Like I mentioned earlier, we had these positions with Hero and Curious. This is a really good position for a third base for Zerg since it's so far away from your opponent.
What we don't see at this point is an Overseer to scout the main base and have a bit of a poke into GuMiho's base, because that's still something that's missing. But he knows about the expansion that has been built. He sees the commands and is losing a little bit too many of these Zerglings, but at least he knows about the CC. He knows there's a third base coming up. And at the same time, he already gets a third on his own, something that GuMiho just can't, he can't deny it. He has to stay defensive at this point. We have the Spire tech, but already missile turrets for GuMiho, so a very interesting and also very tactical game, with Curious already laying the groundwork for the Brood Wars later on in the game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I like the position for Curious here. But the timing attack that is going to occur very soon here, with the production that he has out right now, he can actually move out with the siege tanks he has with Stim and the +1/1 upgrades on the Marines and do a ton of damage. It looks like he's trying to decide. He keeps selecting his siege tanks. He's trying to decide if he wants to go for it or not. 10 mutas are on the way. This is the timing you always want to hit in this matchup, is as the mutas are being made, because then he has not enough gas to really use the banelings, and if you have enough turrets to that initial wave of mutas, then you're fine. But he's starting 2-2 and actually is just going to decide to do drops and be safe here, but I don't like this because he's missed the timing now, and this allows Curious to kind of take control of the map, spread his creep way further out, and get into a good position.
At the same time, Mutalists are something that a lot of Zerg players now skip these days, because Terran players start to get a hang on how exactly to handle this without taking any damage at all. But the Mutalist will just give him an additional edge over his opponent. He is once again able to just not only harass, but also gain the map control even more. He will be able to deal with the drop play of his opponent, even takes down this turret. Oh, he saves it. But as Wolf already pointed out in one of the earlier games when Hero was facing Curious, you have to be careful with your Mutalists. You can't bounce between the bases that easily because there's not a lot of dead space, and as you can just now see, the turrets are in a position to throw this back. But if he just makes sure that with the Mutalist he's shutting down the drop play, he's in a good position to buy time to prepare this later stage of the game.
Yep, indeed. GuMiho landing his drop before running into this base because he knows that his opponent has mutas out, and now he's pushing. 2-2 is going to finish. He has combat shields this time, even though his earlier push might have been at a more normal timing, a stronger timing in some ways. In some ways, this push with 2-2 and stim and combat shields with more tanks could be even more potent. He's going to take out a lot of the creep over here. He's going to actually try to siege up an elevator at the natural. Something scared him a little bit though. He darts around using stem, but he must have been scared by these Zerglings.
Nice. Picks off the dropship immediately, takes down the Marines as well. He needs to kill the vision onto the high ground, which he does at great cost though. We don't have an infestation pit. He can't use fungal and he can't tech to a hive just yet.
Indeed. +2 Carapace is on the way, but again 2-2 about to finish for our Terran Marines. Of course, with the +1 on the way for these tanks as well, things are going to get out of hand with upgrades, but these speed veins look like they're going to connect.
They're doing a ton of damage here, and the Mutalists join the party, take down the tanks as well. Once again, Curious is relying heavily on this tier 2 composition with Zerglings, Banelings, and Mutalists doing a good job. But I would really love to see him at least get the infestation pit to have the option of transitioning, even though at this point it makes a lot of sense just sticking to the combination, and there it is.
There's the infestation pit. He knows that his opponent has lost the majority of his siege tanks now, so he's going to continue to use banelings for now, but the infestation pit there, like you said, gives him options for later, and also, most importantly, I feel at this stage in the game for him, with how ahead he is, it allows him to transition to Brood Lords at a quicker timing than he would have, his opponent would have liked. Look at the creep spread as well. It's like so far out there. He needs to use some scans to clear that up, or he's going to find himself in a world of hurt very soon. He's going to actually lose this group of units.
Oh, yes,
he walked too far out on creep.
He did. That's one Thor, but the Thor won't do anything as the Mutalists don't even have to attack here. He does anyways. Nice pick off, but the he needs to be really careful here. Magic boxing the Thor. The Thor is going to die. A lot of damage done by Curious. He's on 140 supply with a huge amount of minerals and gas banked up. This is not looking for GuMiho here. Hive Tech has been started, Pathogen Glands, and we have the option now for him to get additional upgrades as soon as Hive is done. He's even spreading his creep once again, so he's doing an awesome job here, delaying everything that GuMiho starts, and he's on 4 bases.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking really, really bad. Or not bad, but the game is not in GuMiho's control right now. Things are not looking extremely bad for him. I may have I misspoke there. What I mean to say is that the control of the game is in Curious's hands. Look at the creep. It's past the watchtower. That's never a situation you want to have happen. He's clearing it up now, but his tank count is lower than he wants. He's forced to make Thors here. He's going to really struggle to hold this base. He doesn't even have turrets up here. He's going to lose his SCVs. Nice pullback there. But look at the unit counting station right now. You can see the drone count really nice for Curious here. He's got good upgrades on the Zerglings. He's beefing up the Zergling count right now. He's gone up to 92. He's added just a few infestors into the mix, and I'm sure if you look at the production tab, his Greater Spire, if it hasn't started already, will be starting soon. Oh, I don't like this. The planetary too close to being done.
He's pressuring his opponent over and over again, has still the resources to start his tech, and look at his Overlord positioning. The dropship will be spotted early on. He has Overlords everywhere. Greater Spire is on its way. He's starting some of the Spine Crawlers. They won't be done in time, but he will be able to defend with his Mutalisks. And at the same time, we have a second job trying to get into position at the third base. A lot of Zerglings pick up reinforcements in the middle of the map, though. GuMiho is everywhere, now losing a few drones. This is exactly
what he needs. Exactly, he's going to get an Infestor. Nice bungle though before it dies. And these drops are actually being so cost efficient, you can't defend a drop with Zerglings alone, especially with these Marine upgrades. So really cost-efficient drops for GuMiho, even though he didn't kill any hatcheries or that many drones. He killed some drones and he killed a ton of Zerglings. And now that Zergling count has been reduced from 90 to about 50, he's adding a few more, putting him up to 66, but he had to remake those. It's a lot of larva spent. He hasn't made any corruptors yet for his Broodlord tech that he's going to need.
Curious has a really hard decision now to make. He needs to think about what he's going to do, and he decides to get 11 Broodlords. He knows there's a push coming, but he deems that there are enough units for him to defend against this, to delay this. So these corruptors are the choice that he makes, and they are lined up with the Greater Spire in a beautiful fashion. He will be able to morph those Broodlords immediately, and as soon as there are Broodlords, suddenly there is no anti-air, there is nothing. A Ghost Academy has just been finished, but still, what is he going to use against these Broodlords? He starts with additional Thors, but Thors won't be the answer.
No, two starports.
Exactly, the starports, but when he's getting additional corruptors, and then suddenly he needs to win the air battle. That's important for him.
The real story of this game, I feel, was when he lost so many tanks, he could no longer control the game, and then from there things spiraled out of control. Without the tanks they needed, he couldn't pressure enough. There were too many Banelings. Always about 20 Banelings on the map for Curious, and just 20 is enough to defend this many Marines. And he had to make Thor, something you never really want to make in this matchup unless you just get into an awkward position or if you're meching.
Killing this base was really important for GuMiho.
Yeah, I like also that he's using Marauders as Sim Forward, trying to catch Infestors, killing some Creep Tumors as well. And the Broodlords, they're in the gaping hole we talked about earlier. Great position for these Broodlords. A tough spot now for GuMiho.
The thing is that the Corruptor and Viking count is going to be very important from now on. This is the one thing that it really comes down to. If GuMiho is able to win the air battle against the Corruptors and the Mutalisks, then he's suddenly in a position to take down the Broodlords as well, and this is the one thing that Curious cannot afford. It is just too much. He mustn't lose these Broodlords. If he loses this entire army, then suddenly he's in a very bad spot. It's just too many resources caught up. So we need to see more Corruptors here. I like the Infestors for the Fungals, but still, he needs a few more Corruptors to deal with the Vikings.
Yeah, in order to get more Corruptors, he needs to throw away some of his supply. He wants to catch these Marines. He's forced so many stims on these. If he could just trade Banelings for them, he would be able to clean up all the Marines. There's not really any Marauder support. Looks like he wants to try to corner these units with his Zerglings, though.
He waits for the Broodlords, and now he goes in with Broodlings and Zerglings as well. Also, the Banelings join the fight, but at this point, yes, he's losing a ton. And now he's completely maxing out once again on
3 more Corruptors, 6 more Corruptors, plus 2 air weapons.
Corruptors, Infestors, exactly what he needs.
Ghosts are on the way. GuMiho decides that the patch... This is actually the first time we've seen Terran it's in the GSL since the patch use Ghosts so heavily in this matchup to deal with Broodlords and Infestors. Ever since the patch, we've seen just a lack of that. But GuMiho, man, he is really doing a great job here. Just continue to drop, shutting down this hatchery time and time again. The economy of our Zerg player is not as good as it should be. The only reason he has minerals stacked up now is because he's been maxed for so long. There is an Ultralisk Cavern on the way with +3 melee attacks on the way as well. Do you know if he got Adrenal Glands? I actually do not know.
I think he did not research it.
I don't think he got it, yeah. He's going to want that. And we're going to have a nice position here with these Broods. He has to be careful, though. The Vikings moving forward. Ghost going on with some snipes here.
Beautiful Fungals and the Mutalisks with the Corruptor support, taking down every single Viking, and now he starts with the Broodlords. Awesome. This is exactly what Terrans are afraid of. This late game composition that is so hard to handle.
Absolutely. The Broodlords tearing through everything with their Broodlings, even adding some support here. Doesn't really have support for these units, but the Broodlings alone have been pretty supporting.
8 Infestors are now joining the fight. Well, not just yet, but being built at least in order to So later on.
Oh, I don't like this move forward here. He has some
What a
fumbles.
fungal! Beautiful! Oh my god, he's losing all of this.
If now that he's gotten those fungals off, this position is just fine for him. Surprised we're not seeing any corruptions go down on the Thors, because the Thors are doing some decent damage here, but he is going to actually clean up these Thors now.
Yes, he is. He takes them down,
Oh,
losing
the
to Investors here.
+3 Carapace on the way now as well.
The supply now heavily in favor of Curious, while GuMiho attempts another drop into the Spine Crawlers.
The Ultralisk upgrades on the way, and you see this drop. It's for the most part shut down, but he still has to contend with that. A good fungal again here.
Yes.
The Medivacs just falling so quickly to the Corruptors. There's no Vikings in sight. He's using only Thors against heavily upgraded Broodlords.
At this point, GuMiho is fighting a losing battle. He loses all of his Thors. He doesn't have the Vikings. He only relies on Marines and SCVs now.
GG.
GG's out of the game, and Curious taking the lead with his best of 3.
Indeed, he does. Now, what will be the map of choice for GuMiho? Probably we'll see Antigua.
Yep.
That's what I would expect to see, but you have to consider, with Curious ahead here, GuMiho does not get the final map choice if it goes to a third game if he wins, so the Towel Terran wiping his towel on his hands, getting ready.
Exactly, he's getting ready for the next game. We're just waiting for the next map, and this has been a great day today. This has been really amazing matches so far. Guys, you can definitely use Twitter to send a quick tweet at GOMTV in order to give them some feedback. You can obviously also at ProxyWolf or myself at Calder in order to give us some feedback and let us know of how you like the cast today. We're standing in for Testosis, who are going to be back for the cast tomorrow, by the way. So yeah,
they actually flew in this morning. I got a call from Tasteless.
So you can definitely
tomorrow.
Let us know what you think, and also, well, we both tweet about the Korean scene and about our job here at the GSL. And the players just joined the lobby, and it is not Antigua. The map of choice for GuMiho is this time Cloud Kingdom.
Yeah, a very good map for Terran, but not as tough for Zerg as Antigua, I would say. Yep. Looks like he's prepared a specific strategy for this map. It is a 2-player map. Antigua is also in some ways a 2-player map. It's possible we see a 2-rack on this map. I don't think that's what we're going to see. That's just really not GuMiho's style. He's done it before, but it's not something he really prefers to do. He's actually really good at thinking. He's actually typing with his towel now. It's actually incredible.
Taking it to another level.
We'll see who can win this game and play against Hero. Of course, this is only our second game. Curious up one game away from getting to that playoff round. And man, is GuMiho moving his mouse fast. We'll see if he can move it fast enough to take out his Zerg opponent here. All comes down to this. Whoever loses this match goes to the round of 48 in Code A. Neither of them want that.